Hello ICEM Surf fans, my name is Nick McFerrin from the CATIA Design IPS team at Dassault Systèmes. I've been using ICEM Surf for a number of years now, so I'm delighted to be sharing with you the What's New with ICEM Surf 2026. Just released in November, ICEM Surf 2026 is a very important release indeed. A huge amount of work has gone in under the hood. What I mean by that is we have completely rewritten the runtime database. Over the last few years, we have totally maxed out the old runtime database, pushing it to its absolute limits. The new runtime database will run much more efficiently, and we can fit much more data within the .isem files. And so for ICEM Surf 2026, we have one major visible enhancement, and it's really an essential one. It's something that we've all been waiting for quite a long time. I'm talking about multiple undo-redo and a useful undo-redo manager. This was simply not possible on the old runtime database. For ICEM Surf modelers, this really is a fantastic improvement, bringing a really useful capability to our daily lives. It permits a more flexible approach to working, allowing us to confidently explore different techniques without risking losing what we're already happy with. Let me show you how it works.
When you start ICEM Surf 2026, you get greeted by this new splash screen. You can see here there's a little message with a tick box which says New Runtime Database, Beta. So it's actually in beta mode and you can choose whether to run it or not with this tick box. Okay, you can also access the splash screen here under the About Product Information. It's the same splash screen. And you can click on the little help file. It tells you a little bit more about the runtime database, but also includes a link to the ICEM community. So this is our online community of ICEM experts, where you can ask questions and you can give feedback. So this is the community here. You can see they're all ICEM Surf experts in here, both in and out of Dassault Systèmes. You can ask a question with the yellow icon here, so you can say something like, how do I do something? And you can type your question here. You can share models and screenshots and so on. So the community is a very useful way for us to communicate together. You can also switch on the runtime database in preferences. So here it is on the left. You can just choose, it's exactly the same tick box. You can choose if you want to use it or not, it's up to you. So let's go ahead and make some simple geometry. Let's start with a patch on Z0, here we are. And let's put a flange on the back edge as well. Using my mouse menu, going for flange. Let's make that a bit bigger. That'll do. And let's finish this off with a fillet. Nothing fancy, just a straightforward fillet. So I'm building up a sequence of commands so I can demonstrate how the undo-redo works. Let's now make a change. I'm going to make use of the pipette plus function, just to remind you guys of how it works. So I'm going to make a bit of a change here. I may grab the normal center row and pull that down. Now I'm going to update the flange and the fillet. So back in the flange, pick the pipette plus, and look at that, it updates right away. And the fillet, you just need to identify which one and hit the OK button, and it recalculates. So let's make another change. Let's go the other way now. Let's lift that up and update as before. And the fillet. There we are. And just for good measure, we'll make one more change on the flange. So let's change the angle of the flange. Okay, there we are. So I've made a nice little sequence of commands with tweaks. Thing to note is that the undo-redo manager is only on geometry commands, but here they are. It goes all the way from where we are. We can go all the way back to the start by clicking on the back arrow, and we can click on the forwards one to go back to the future. So one of the cool things we can do with that is we can go back in time. So let's go to step 7. I can now do save as. So I can do what I would call design branching. So maybe I'm at a critical point in my design and I can sort of save it out at this stage where I'm happy with everything. Let me use the increment option, which adds an incremental number every time you hit save. So it stores those if you like. And let's go back a bit further to before I added the shape. Still with increment on, so an OK is just going to add a number on the end, number 2. Saving does not remove the undo redo steps, but you'll notice down at the bottom here, we also have the freeze and unfreeze, so the global freeze and freeze undo. So if I actually hit the freeze, see what happens? It removes the previous steps, and I can jump back to my freeze point. So if we have a very large model with hundreds and hundreds of steps, the freeze will actually delete that history. Of course, we support Windows Standard Control-Z and Control-Y also to move up and down the undo redo steps.
So there you have it. I'm sure you'll agree with me that it's a very useful and powerful addition to our daily workflows. I think you're going to love it, bringing something we take for granted in parametric systems to our favorite explicit surface modeling solution, ICEM Surf 2026. Thank you for listening.